Hello and welcome back to Consistent Profits. This time around, we're looking at 3 ideas that improved my trading results, and I'm hoping that these ideas can do the same to you and your trading. Depending, of course, on your trading experience, how long you have been trading, and where you are as far as profitability and the like, you might find value out of these, and I hope if that's the case, you do like, comment, as well as subscribe to this channel. Okay, without wasting time, let's have a look at the first idea. Idea number 1 is I don't need the entire range. Oftentimes, we find ourselves in profit as traders after following a particular strategy, everything aligning, we're ticking our criteria, and we see our trade go in our favor. Maybe the target is about like 1:6, and you find that your trade goes all the way to 1:3 or 4, and you keep holding the trade. You don't even adjust the stop loss, or maybe sometimes you do adjust it. Minutes later or hours later, you come back, you realize price went against you, traded into your break-even stop loss, or simply took you out with a loss if you didn't adjust your stop loss. And you regret because you saw profit but you didn't take it. And this is because sometimes I used to want to hold on to home runs, wanting price to trade into the target particularly that I have set, forgetting that these markets react of different kind of fundamentals and so forth. Because they are very fractal, you find that you are looking at a order block on a weekly chart as your target, but ahead of that order block there is a fair value gap that price ends up reacting off, and you find that that fair value gap is only on the daily time frame and it reacts off that. So I found it helpful for me once I started understanding that I don't need the whole entire range. And what I'm talking about in illustration format is that sometimes price break structure and there is an order block potentially over there. I'm expecting price to trade into it, and once it reaches that level, I place my cells targeting this level over here. My thoughts and my trading system tells me that after this break of structure, price is supposed to trade all the way into this level over here. This is the target. However, sometimes what can happen is that price will react off a fair value gap over here ahead of reaching into this level and begin to trade against me, taking out my stop loss. If I have it at break even, taking it out at break even, and I'm leaving that trade either with a loss or with nothing at all. But I saw profit of maybe 1:3. Never took partials because I was holding for a 1:6 or maybe 7. And it was only until I understood that I can take partials halfway, or I can simply take off my trade once it reaches 1:3, because if your trades are like 1:3, you can still become profitable at the end of the week, at the end of the month. And that is a good risk management, if you ask me, as a trader. For as many years that I have been trading, I have about 8 years of trading, and if you can apply this understanding in your trading, you are guaranteed success. And without wasting time, now we're going to be having a look at the next idea that transformed my trading. Idea number 2 that transformed my trading was to understand that nothing lasts forever in the markets or in life in general. But because we're speaking about the markets, what I'm talking about is that you will find that sometimes the market is trending, sometimes you find that the market is ranging, and sometimes, of course, it's trending to the upside. And these are different kinds of market conditions that you need to know, understand, to align yourself accordingly, because you find that sometimes you go like a week or a month with profitability, but once the market stops trending and begins to consolidate, maybe a week later or a month later, your strategy is no longer working. You're seeing blanks, you're hitting blanks, and you are getting yourself in a situation whereby you end up being not profitable. And that is oftentimes because of market conditions change. So you need to understand that and align yourself in the markets accordingly. And with that having been said, that brings me into the third point. And the third idea is I will need plan B and C or even better, and D. However, the bottom line is that I need more than one plan because of nothing lasts in the market. So as a result, we will need more than one plan to approach these markets. These markets are not always the same. What works today might not work tomorrow. So if you have more than one approach to the market, that helps you and sets you apart, because this is actually what helped me. I understood that the market conditions are constantly changing and I need more than one way to approach the markets. Oftentimes we have a strategy of a trending market, but we neglect strategies of what do I do when the market is ranging. Oftentimes I used to just trade off order blocks, but what happens if the market doesn't trade all the way into an order block? Maybe I can look at a fair value gap. Sometimes I used to just trade off breakers and neglect rejection blocks. And sometimes it can even go to a point of I only enter a trade once I see a market structure shift like this, for example, and my target will be over here for price to trade all the way here. You understand? So, but my question is, what happens if you're only going to see market structure shift over here And when you have a look at this situation, the range that's left, it's not enough for you to see profitability if your stop loss is going to be here. This is like probably 1:1 or maybe less than 1:1. What do you do then in such cases? Then, it helps if you have more than one way to enter into a trade. It helps if you have more than one way to understand if the market is bullish or bearish. It helps if you have more than one way to, adjust your stop loss or place your stop loss. So understanding that market conditions are not always going to be the same, and that does not necessarily mean that you need to go against your trading rules, but you have to, once you have mastered, probably once you have mastered one trading system, you can incorporate certain ideas of that system to build another trading system. And in that way, you can build a third one, then the fourth one, maybe the fifth, and it will depend as to how many trading systems can you be comfortable with in the markets. So with that said, I would like to just leave it at that. And as we recap the 3 understandings that improved my trading result, these 3 will give you an edge. Number 1, I don't need the entire range. I can always take partials or maybe take profits at halfway points of the range, as long as that take profit makes sense in terms of monetary value or risk management. It is advisable oftentimes that if you can take 1:3, then you're doing well. 1:2 is still okay, but 1:3 is even better. It will depend on your taste, and it will depend on how you have backtested that market or the markets that you are trading, and you will know that how therefore you're going to approach your money management strategy. And second to that is nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Trust me, market conditions are always changing, are trending. You have situations whereby it's consolidating, and even beyond that, sometimes it doesn't trade into an order block, it only trades into a fair value gap. So it's not always the same. What worked last week is not necessarily going to be the case in the following weeks. And therefore, point number 3 is the answer to point number 2. You will need plan B, C, D, even up to F. If you are able to work with all those plans at once, it is up to you. It's based on obviously your capabilities and your discretion. But it is advisable to know how to work with different kind of conditions of the markets and align yourself so that you can become profitable, because you don't want to be in a situation whereby you feel like there's no trades this week because you are only focused on one trading system, and when it's not working out, then you are either on the sidelines or you are constantly hitting blanks. So it is actually advisable for you to take these ideas, practice them, apply them in your backtesting when you are practicing, and see how they can improve your trading. I wish you nothing but the best, and expect another video on a forecast of the week that's ahead.